$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings. Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Alaikum, sisters and brothers. Suleiman Rahim here, Best of the Covenant, break up 7 seals. Brothers and sisters, great separation is about to take place. Separate us from that what's been causing us, separating us from the cancer. Radiation, what do you call it? Chemotherapy. Everybody put some chemotherapy on the cancer. I've been putting it on there now, it's about to see the result. Once you remove, brothers and sisters, the sky's the limit. You're going home, but you have to want to go home. Nobody's going to force you. Going home. Going home to paradise. You earned it. They do everything to block you, because when you go to paradise, you take paradise with you. Think about that. See, when the people left Egypt, they took all the gold and silver with them. That means Egypt, now they lost the slaves, they lost the wealth. The slaves was their wealth. So they know what you leave is for them. They don't want you to know that. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. There are a couple of things, then get to my message. Wishes. You can tell us it's working. It always gets me, brothers and sisters, but here it goes.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm going to do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flagler as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
yes, sir,
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity. So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa may be 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you. Go ahead.
One more time, brother.
3. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. 5. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold, therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. 6. And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth.
That's some sick stuff there, brothers and sisters. You notice the last few weeks, I've already been will, God, and love. And that we just said. They're doing. They're trying to think Farrakhan's going. They're making this a cosmopolitan organization like the ACP. All that money can come in, guilt comes in. It's not anything connected to Elijah Muhammad. In fact, even the weakest believer, the weakest believer, remember that when Elijah was around, not the weakest. If men said something like that, you'd be lucky if he's still around when the messenger found out about it. I can tell you that's a fact. They'd carry that guy out with his ass on fire on a stretcher. He'd be lucky if that's all that happened to him. If anything close to that. They're laughing now. Somebody said they're laughing within the next 60 days. I think it's much closer than that, bounces, but give us some room. Okay, the bloodbath, brothers and sisters, but I'm going to talk about something else first when I get there. One brothers and sisters, little voice situation here. Now it says that the Messiah would come forth that you have life more abundantly. Master Muhammad says that he put you in heaven overnight. All that's available to you right now. The hell you're in right now, brothers and sisters, is self-made. Because it's telling you, the man in Mark, he was beating himself up. He was doing it to himself. You beat yourself up. You put yourself in hell. You give yourself diabetes. All these things. When heaven, steps to heaven is open to you. And every step is getting better and better and better. Open to you. Let me give you an example here. See, you have to use this to get it. We don't control the quantity. There's two aspects of the universe: quantity and quality. Quantity means it's energy. There's so much energy, and it's energy expands across how it's active. Universe expanding, closes, expands, closes, expands, closes. We can't control that. We control the quality of it. That's why stars and even scientists say they can understand that the universe expands. They understand why you have such beautiful constellation thing. They think it should just be a cloud of gas. No, we did that. So I'm going to show you the steps. I'm going to give you the basic step. Now you apply them or not. Up to you. See what I'm showing here is I'm showing, like, say the five so-called races, right? Say the gold represents us. Say everybody is 1,000 units of energy every day. 1,000. Let's just say that's what sets the law. Everybody gets 1,000 paycheck. Everybody gets exactly 1,000 every day. That's quantity. And the quality is who you are, what you do with it. Oh, I'm going to buy $1,000 worth of ice cream. I'll buy $1,000 worth of corn chips or whatever. But you get $1,000. But now to operate, you need so much energy just to operate yourself. That's on the top there. See, in the center is how much you get every day. Everybody gets the same amount. Same amount of energy. On the top of each one shows how much energy you actually require to maintain yourself. And remember, as the universe opens, the energy that used to be here is going out there. So as time goes on, it gets less and less energy here, so you get less and less energy per day. Less and less energy here. And so it gets less and less until the universe gets to its maximum, and then it starts contracting. Now you get more energy every day. But it's actually 50-year cycles. It's cycles there. Every 50 years, you get an increase in energy. When it's going out, of course, it goes in waves. So when it goes out every 50 years, you get less energy you was getting 50 years before. You understand that? And we can show, we prove it's the 50-year cycle. Right? Every 50 years, you get now when the universe is totally expanded, that means there's less energy here. That's where we find ourselves. What's short here is that, see, on the top it shows how much energy you need to maintain yourself. So say like we Lamborghini, okay, we need 1,000 units of energy to maintain ourselves. Just because it takes energy to think, to breathe, your heart to beat, and all that. So we need a minimum of 1,000 units of energy every day to maintain ourselves. That's what we need. Then you get less than that, oh, you're in trouble then. I'm not going there, I'm just going to start from zero. So I'm not going to go to the negative. Say you get 1,000. So I'm saying, well, the richer people go, they need 1,000, they get 1,000. That means they don't have any money for anything else. I have no money for anything. I have just no money. I'm homeless. I guess never more money to keep myself alive. I'm home, I don't have anything. I have no control of anything. It takes energy to control something. Energy to have friends, energy for everything. Everything requires energy. Mate, everything requires energy. So you get to the point where, oh, you have enough energy to maintain yourself. You have energy for nothing. For relationships, for family, for government, anything. You have no energy for anything. So you're just homeless with it. Right? Let's say Africa, that's the black, right? Let's say they don't need 900. Oh, well, they got 100. Yes, 100. They got 100 to spend for other things. They might not can afford a government family. Maybe they can. They're not homeless. They can. Well, they still be homeless. At least they can buy some food. They get some money to buy some food. And they're not eating out of the garbage can. And they're not eating shitless. Then you go to the brown nation there. Oh, well, all they need is 600. They got 400 to work with. So now they could buy their food. They can buy a house. They're not homeless anymore. They have a garbage can, you understand? Then you go to the Oriental, and they need 300. Oh, they got 700. So I mean, they can have food, place to stay. Right? You have family. Let's say you go to the Caucasians, they'll give 100. They box like a beetle. Oh, they got 900. So they got enough man to enough food, stay, family, and also have a government. Rule, they can rule. Get the point? They're weaker than the rest. They got less structure, but more power because energy power is how much, in this case, power is how much energy you have than what you need. But I said, spin out what we've given you. Right? They're really telling you this here, but you don't understand it. You understand? That's the case. So the bottom line is, I'm gonna go a little further. I'm gonna go another slide, but the bottom line here is, see, we at a case now where we're not there anymore. Say if we need 1,000, we're getting 2,000. Now we've got enough money to have all those things. Those things are quality, remember? Because you said, well, I want ice cream. I want to get my donuts. I want to get mine. I want to go out and buy me a bicycle. I want to go, I got $1,000. I want to, how you want to use it. Understand? It's how you want to use it. So it's energy management. So how you control it. So you take it and say, okay, I'm going to go out and spend money on the NFL and NBA. Well, then you still may have, if that's $1,000, but you still may be homeless because you spend all your money on that. You ain't got, now you have money for food. So you should say, because you said, yeah, I think NBA and NFL else. But you're getting 1,000, you're getting 2,000, you need 1,000 to maintain yourself. But the other 1,000, you're blowing it. Stuff that is significant. Now you got, yeah, man, you talk about, hey, man, I saw the game, man. It was rocking to all your homeless friends. You understand? Does it make logical sense? Because it is mathematically correct. Let's move on to the next one. Everybody's getting 1,000. Here, I'm going to just get a couple of cases, basic cases here. You see here? Now, what if somehow he got 1,700? Well, he ain't supposed to have but 1,000. I got 700. We got to give him somebody else. Take him somebody else. He only has 7,000. He got 1,700. That means the other ones he had to take from them. So you say, okay, well, he said he took 100 from us. Now we only got 800. He took from left. Okay, 802 or 800. Now, but they need 900. We got 800. They need 100. They still in trouble, right? We need 1,000. But we're only getting 800. See? 200. It's not what you think it is, right? And then you go down here, you say, well, they took 200 from, well, they said only took 100 from the agents. So they only need 600. But they're getting 900. So they got 300. They still got something to work with. It says slowly. He's taking 200 from us, so we're getting 100. So we need 1,000. So we got 200 less than what we need. We don't have enough even to maintain ourselves. Enough even to maintain ourselves. We didn't maintain ourselves. He took that, and we haven't even that. So we had his mercy. We go to Africa, right? And he took 200 from them. They need 100, so well, they don't have enough to maintain themselves either. But they in bad shape as we are. And they go to Orientals, right? And they say, oh, okay, They they have 800, but they only need 300. Right? They only need 300. They got something to work with. They still don't have a government, weak one. Then he goes to agents over there, and right, they only need 600. Right? But they got 900 because they only took one from them. They got 300 to work with. Whether that, work 300, disposable income, so to speak. I'm not sure all the numbers here. I'm making a point here. The point is that what I'm showing is, I'm showing like the black, the gold right there. I'm showing, well, they got 200. They only get 1,000. No, they only get 800. They're supposed to have 1,000. That means, if you look at this sense, and look at this sense of luck, right? That means they have to have 1,000, but they only got 800. That means they have 200 years of good luck. Where's the good luck? What's that mean? It could be all kinds of things. That mean that they find $200. Maybe somebody give them $200 worth of clothes or something. So it could be $200. You got $200 worth of good luck. They still got a problem though. They only got $200 worth of good luck. It's still a problem for them because they only get 800. They need 1,000. So good luck may be, right, that they walk around and they find some food. They get 1,000. Same thing in Africa. You understand that? They're supposed to have, they only got 800, but they need a 900. They have 200 worth of good luck. And positive energy. And that would take the form where they make it take. They can use that energy to say, okay, address their needs, put that away. Now, like I said, the first person there, they need 1,000 to take care of themselves, they only get 800. But they got 200 good luck, so that 200 good luck, they're going to use that 200 good luck. Use it to maintain themselves. They get, I find $200, right? Oh man, let me go ahead and buy me some more food, man. I'm short. I'm not getting enough food. See? Say, okay, here's the scenario here. They need $1,000. They get $1,000. That's what they need. Maintain themselves. They don't have money for anything else. You only get 800. So it says, oh, but then they got 200 with good luck. So it means they'll walk around and they'll $200 maybe. And they'll say, let me go buy me another pair of shoes, something that help maintain themselves. I'm gonna go out here, man. I'm gonna go out here and watch the game. They cause hell for themselves because now their bodies work operating at a deficiency, which could cause some kind of cancer or tumor or something. Which if they had went in and put, right, maybe got called cold frostbite because it was too cold. But now they don't have, and they, of course, that they couldn't have buy shoes. The person took, they only got 800 because somebody took $200 from them. So they couldn't buy any shoes. Man, I'm gonna freeze, it's cold. And then they walk around, they stumble, and they find a pair of shoes. Or they find $200. They take $200 and go buy a pair of shoes with it. See? It's up to their control. Take you to buy a pair of shoes with it? No, man. It's that game, man. Okay, say again. Now you got frostbite because you didn't buy the shoes you needed. Hope you understand the point here. And you go down here to the same case. How to use that? That one had a problem, and the African had a problem. The other ones don't quite have a problem because they got more than they need. Like the Orientals, they got They only need 300 to maintain themselves. And Asians, they got, but they only need 600 to maintain themselves. Right? But the Caucasians got 1,700, they need 100 to maintain themselves, but they got 700 more and they can't, it's negative. Because the law says you can't have no more than 1,000. So what happens? Look at, see if we can make sense of this next one. I'm getting oversimplification, brothers and sisters. But this here. Now I have many ways. Now this one way. That's why I'm saying this way, but this is what's about to happen. That's consequence. Remember, the law said, no, you got to give 200 back. You took 200, you got to give 200 back. You got to get 100 back. You're supposed to only have 1,000. So you took, you got to give it back. You're trying to hold on to it. Don't give it back. That means now it's got $700 in negative energy. Which means they walk down the street or something, and they fall and break a leg, so they pay, I got a 700 bill, they got to pay to a doctor. They're still going to pass it off. They can't have more than 1,000. They got more than it, right? But if you look at it this way, they took it from these, two, they can take it back. This particular form is what's about to happen. They've been taking all the nations. They've been robbing all the nations for the last 40 years. Take it from them. They got more than they're supposed to have. Leave the nations best. But we in particular was told to submit. Don't retaliate. Let them take it. So it builds up. $1,000 a day for 365 years. I mean, for 400 years. That's the lie. So, what's that? You know, 365 times 365, 3,600, 3,600 is marked around 36,000. 36,000. 36,000. 400. 36,000. 36,000. 2 more zeros at 3,600,000. 3,600,000. 3,7,200. $144 million. If you do it like based on that, it means they take all that from you at one time. They let it build up. In this case, this is the violent case. They take it back. They take it back directly from who took it from them. That's what America's been taken from everybody. Now they got to pay it up. That's consequence. And that's the universal law. If you understand, accept that or not, it's up to you. That's what it works. If you don't accept that, then you keep thrown around in the dark. What it's telling you is that spit out what we've given you. So if you go and take something from somebody else, then you got more, then you got building negativity. Now, it can happen to you instantly. When they say repent, it means you give it back before consequence catch. That's why we sort of think about Isa, you call Jesus. He heals me, so repent. Repent. It means you throw it out, now you suffer, you got an illness problem. I mean, heal you, but you got to repent. You got to go back and get $1,000 back from who you stole it from. You want the healing to take effect. That's what we say, repent. That's the way it works. So the bottom line is, but right now, what you're doing is that you're saying, say you get $1,000 a day, but you're spending $1,500 a day, $2,000 a day. So now you owe consequence. If you spend $3,000 a day, but you only got $1,000, you owe consequence $2,000 a day. $2,000 of bad luck. It can take form, any kind of form. It can take form of illness, get hurt, somebody beat you up, break bad relationships, Think all kind of bad luck is bad luck. Need somebody to get you in a lot of trouble. You've been in jail for a year, 2 years. You pay it off. That's just the way it works. So right now, our people, if they're in hell, but they're doing it themselves because they're buying this money scam, American dream, that's a scam. Money's a scam. I was telling my wife the other day, I said, if I was a millionaire, especially if I was a billionaire, I'd kill a lot of people. Easily, legally. Just wipe them out. You know how I do it? Hey, pal, I don't like this dude. I really hate him, right? See, that's why you got to understand scripture real closely. I said, here, man, here's $1 million. Nice, he gave $1 million. Because I know he only supposed to have $1,000. He got $1 million. He got 900,000 today. $900,000 was a bad luck. Just watch him go out the street and get run by a car or something. Oh, you think that's it? No, that's the way it works, fellas, sisters. That's why it tells you if someone wants your coat, give 2 coats, give 3 coats. Because what you heap a fire on their heads. See, you didn't understand that before I just told you, did you? That's a quote. You want to find a quote for you? Is that quote? Exactly what it say. Find that for you. Because you listen to these clowns out here, they don't know what they're talking about. Keep listening to prayer kind of that philosophy crap. Okay. Where is it? Oh, okay. Is that cool? Over here. Let us find it here. Yes. That's the find here. Mm. Okay, 1 second, brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. See, the Bible talks about a lot of reverse logic. You need mathematics to understand it. But this is not the one I wanted, but this will work. It says, if that enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat. If he thirsty, give him water to drink. But shall heap coals upon his head, and the Lord shall reward thee. Is that exactly what I just said? Give him something you ain't supposed to have. The enemy. You get reward for it. And they get fired for it. That's exactly what I just said. Mathematically. That's the mathematics they gonna say, why not give help? See that this world, these local Christians don't do that. It says, if you see enemy, if you want something, give it to help them. But that you ain't that's not love. It's called love. That's not love. He says you heap a fire on their heads. And as you kicking their ass, like giving them something. God shall heap coals upon his head, and you shall be rewarded. Put negative energy on them and positive energy on yourself. You know by doing that. That's what I said. I just gave the mathematics of it. So that's why you're beating yourself. The man's beating yourself. Why? Because most of the closest. I want to give you, it says give you, have life, have more abundantly. I'm trying to show you what scripture really mean, not this Christian, because they don't believe in that stuff. They don't even know what it means. But that doesn't make sense to you, does it? Why help my enemies? But now somebody gonna say, well, we need to be more white, nice to white people. Okay, go ahead and do that if you want. But that's what it's saying here. But that gets into quality things too, doesn't it? Because if you like, remember, if you like chocolate ice cream, you're going to promote somebody, your enemy that makes vanilla ice cream. Yeah, well, you're going to help put fire in his head. But then you get, your chocolate ice cream. It's a little more complicated, but it's a quality. Take the quality. You guys, I'm trying to explain both these things, quality and quantity. But this right here is what's happening right now, because all the nations now, that's like America, I'm doing sanctions, I'm doing tariffs, all that kind of stuff. Because everything America has is stolen. And America's going down. Everybody's taking back. Everybody's rising now. They're taking back. So America feels the strain. Because I said, you don't have to see the wind, see the effect of the wind. That's America. I want to take, why? Because they lose control, because everybody's taking back. There's nothing they can do about it. Because they got more than they're supposed to have. Everything America got, they stole it. Everything, including us. So all the energy in America right now is stolen energy, including them. That's why I said they would take captive all the lands. You see how it falls into place, brothers and sisters? You know what I'm saying? They when we survive, be take captive all the land, because they don't even own themselves anymore. Everything they have is how it takes to produce someone. It takes energy to produce a child. And you using stolen energy, that means that energy of the child doesn't belong to you. It belongs to whoever you stole the energy from. There's be so much confusion here in America and everything, because it's just going to increase. They ain't gonna have any unity, because all energy, they won't have energy. There's no energy to have, no energy to maintain unity, because all the energy belongs to everybody else. They thought they was doing something by doing that. And that's why we deceived them by allowing them to do it. We sit back and let them do it. That's what we call that C-bomb, consequence bomb. That's right. So I know, don't fight with Adam. Let them do it. Submit to them. Let them do it. Because one day you're going to let loose all that frustration, all that hell they put on you, and one day destroy them. That's your gateway. So now, if you sit on here and you want to buy that old, you want to buy your American dream. It says, if you love this world's dream, you will get it. Give you more of it. But there's no push in hereafter, because you didn't invest in hereafter. You didn't take your energy. You say, okay, I love chocolate ice cream. I love chocolate ice cream, right? But you invest in vanilla ice cream, man. You're going in vanilla ice cream. So all you need is vanilla ice cream, but you didn't invest in what you would like. Chocolate, you invest in vanilla. So now you got to eat vanilla. There's no chocolate for you. There ain't much chocolate around. That chocolate I haven't had none to eat all. But spring is coming in. I'm investing in the winter. Okay, you invest in the winter. You ain't gonna get no spring. You gotta invest in the spring. Or spring ain't here yet, yeah, but it's coming. And you want to be there when you want to be in the plane lands, or you want to be there after the plane takes off. That's the bottom line. If you understand that, because right now the bad relationships you have, all the bad luck and everything you have, all that kind of stuff, all that you created. You look in the mirror, what you see is what you created. It don't have to be that way now. You start the healing. A lot of those do the good to others. But it sounds like that's kind of bad. I just do good to myself. It's been our way of giving you. Both of those speak exactly what I'm trying to explain. Both of those. Those do good to others. It means now you're creating positive energy for yourself. It's been our way of giving you. It means you're not creating negative energy for yourself. That's what it means, brothers and sisters. I've got presentations go more in detail than that. That's it. So if you're not progressing, if you're not happy, and you got, because how you invest in your energy? You take energy from other people. I know people had a relative who want to live off of everybody else, and they got all kinds of bad luck. Nothing works for them. No car, no family, what's their spouse, but no friends. None. I can tell the prayer, I said, stop doing that. Stop living off people, living over here, living there. Wouldn't listen, just kept on. Then after a while, one person died. And then, you know, they couldn't live off them anymore. Then the next day they was homeless. So I said, that's what happened to you. You ain't getting away, you ain't getting over. You thought you was getting over. You was using somebody else's energy. Control someone else's energy. People that go out and, you notice about people that control people? I remember one had a demon wife. She was very controlling. And then she ended up losing control of herself. Then it went crazy. But maybe she did go. I wasn't going to be controlled. People that try to control people lose control themselves. That's what the Mass says. How are you going to try to control other people? Learn to control yourself, discipline yourself. You understand, brothers and sisters? Kind of have, so you have to have more abundantly. You don't get this stuff from Farrakhan. He's talking about some Scientology and all that bullshit. That's not the way it works. And this is what the 5 pillars teach you. I'm not going to the 5 pillars right now. Maybe tomorrow I'll talk about bringing the 5 pillars. I got a presentation I just speak to that. The 5 pillars, all about energy management. It's all, and different aspects, because you got different aspects of your body. You got heart, you got lungs, you got brain, muscles, aspects of your body. And 5 pillars addresses the 5 different aspects of your body. Discipline, so you have power. And you'll be creating negative energy for yourself. You look around and say, oh, that's what I said. Look at the nations. Oh, well, the devil got so much here because they don't need as much. They don't need more than you. It's a different quality. You got 1,000, you got 1,000, but you ain't got your Lamborghini. So now you ain't got any money for anything else. You ain't got both riding bills. Now you partying around town and everything else. But you got a Lamborghini. You only got a Volkswagen Beetle. I'm not saying go and get that, but I'm just saying that's who we are. We're the best. We have the best genes and everything. But the point is, it takes a lot of energy to maintain that. And that's what we got to the point when the universe expanded. We had no energy. We couldn't control anything. We lost control of ourselves. But the devils had control of everything. Yeah. But now, since 1860, energy started to come back at 50-year intervals. And you can check it. We can explain it in deep where you can understand it. Now we're energized. Now you're at the point right now where you have enough energy. You have enough energy to. You have enough energy to maintain you're not gonna have enough energy to maintain control of the planet. You don't have enough energy for that. It's gonna be another 6,000 years before we have enough energy for that. But Muhammad, their structure is not, that's why I call him a derivative of God. This structure is not as complex as he's half original. His structure is not as complex. So, like we might need 1,000 maintain ourselves, he may only need 500 to maintain himself. But he's still original. He's disciplined. That's why the kingdom was given to them. And Muhammad taught that too. Given to him, he's a God, faithful and righteous God, so we have no problem with him. Right? And then after 6,000 years, then we have enough energy. It took 6,000 years to get down. It took 6,000 years to get down to the bottom of the barrel. It takes 6,000 years to get out of the barrel. That should make sense. Then we have the Godhood returned back to the tribe of Shabbat. He told that himself. They don't tell you because they don't know what the hell they're talking about it. But the point is that the kingdom is built on with us. We're part of the kingdom. He's a God, though. But we see Abraham, we inherit all of it. So we've been in paradise, but we've been in paradise, but paradise gets better and better and better and better and better. The next 72 years, it took 72 years to get down to the universe was all, as Christ says, universe, the heavens and earth was one. That means all the energy we used to be here. It took 73 years to get to where we are right now. To get energy deprivation. But now it takes 72 years to get back to, it means it'll get better and better and better and better. So once you step out here, if you do step into paradise, that's just like first floor. And you'll be mellow there. That would be first floor. You got 72 trillion more floors to climb. Each one gets better and better and better and better and better. That's the way it works. And right now, you really understand mathematics because you can control the situation and said, put you in heaven overnight. You got stuff, some people, I know a person, he got 2 old cars in his garage. Don't use them. I said, why you got, oh man, well, one of them belonged to my father, and I don't know about the other one. I said, man, don't you realize you control those cars, right? Yeah. You understand that that's energy, that's wasted energy. You bottling up your energy. You damming up your energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, the thing is, remember, say you had say with a shit farm out there. I mean, fertilizer, that's how they make some fertilizers out of shit, right? Say you had a fertilizer farm with a shit farm, right? Say it was worth $1 million. That's the value of it. It's got a value. So you bought it. You wanted to meet the fertilizer. $1 million, right? The other guy, he would have bought a $1 million gold mine. Both of them worth $1,000 million. Get that? Which one would you rather have? Which one would you rather have? I'm 76 years old, and I'm not suffering from anything. They come at me with all kinds of stuff. Because I spin out with them. I know how much energy I get every day. I know how much I stay within it. And every time they come at me, I always beat them. They threw me in jail over in Guam, hit me in jail, put me on trial, everything else. I was by myself, had nothing. I was by myself, they had the abandoned, they had no money, nothing. Story of Jonah, but that's no story. I was in the island for 3 years. Some sick went down, they put me in jail, put me on trial. They told me they would make a deal if I confessed or whatever. I've been 6 years and penitentiary for 6 years, and then get their permission to leave the island and all this bull. I said, man, you take me now, you're gonna take me down standing up. This is a true story. You can just document it. They keep documenting that stuff. So I'm gonna just tell you a story. At the time, I'm not going to get too personal here. I got my wife, we've been together for about 40-some years. We had a rough spell about a while back when she was younger and she was very difficult. She's gonna beat me up when I say this, but she knows she was very difficult, man. I could tell we got to incorporate each other. I understand where she's coming from because that's where they teach these systems, especially at Bill Cosby shit. So we parted. And I ended up marrying this woman out of from Morocco. And she probably Muslim, all that, right? And what her gay scam was to rip me off. That was the whole thing. But they don't really like us. I wasn't really up on that at the time. But anyway, that was the whole thing. So she did get pregnant, had a daughter. The thing is, she was working behind the scenes. I got somebody told me, because she told one guy, this guy was from Iran or something. And I went there. It was some store I went and where shit out. I went back, I had to pick up something. He said, "Man, do you know what she's all about?" I said, "What?" He told me, she's trying to set you up. Okay. I mean, I think he got a ransom. So he told me. He didn't tell me the details. Another time, well, I'm going into detail. Really, the bottom line is that I had this contract up in Indiana. And what happened is that the contract fell apart, and I worked for an Indian company. I contract to them. So they said, "Well, we lost the contract. We have a contract in Guam, and if you because I knew, everybody knew I was sharp. But they wouldn't have came to me. I mean, man, these are Indians, right? They came to me asking me would I go to Guam and run that project for them. So, I mean, I had this over here. I had nothing else at the point. So I said, okay, I do it. So I did it, and after a while, they transferred her over. And she'd been trying to sell a lot of stuff, right? But that's, I'm going with details. Bottom line is, what her plan is that if I had stayed in the United States, right, but she was going to take and leave and say I had to, after she had a job, right? She was going to beat her up and all this kind of stuff. Get all this set up. And so I would end up getting locked up. I would have to pay child support favor. And had to pay her alimony because she wouldn't work nowhere. So her idea was that, get that, go back to Morocco. She lived in Queen for the next 30 years, 20 years, because of child support and alimony and stuff. That was her plan. Now, see, me, I'm working. I'm trying to control people, looking what they're doing, right? And that time, I try to be the best side of people. Well, she broke me up with that. Her and the other demon wife I had. Anyway, so this is where the work worked out, right? So by me, this thing came out of nowhere. It's down in Guam. So she was about to pull the trigger. But that came up. I was there. She couldn't pull the trigger because I was in Guam. But then she didn't come out of Guam right away. But they told her it took about a week. And she came out there. So she figured out she was going to try to pull the trigger out there. Because she couldn't pull in the States. But you know how long I was going to be here. You wanted to keep it, she's going to pull the trigger in Guam. Remember, I'm applying this math I'm telling you. Fasting, 5 pillars. Because it's not a joke. This is the way life works. That's why I don't really worry about what people are doing, because I know I'm protected. 5 pillars protect me. You'll be a fool with it, but I know. It's not a faith thing. I know the mathematics of it. So going there, but she finally got there, and then when I look around, and police show up, and she's all banged up and everything else, and she done went out and beat us up. She did something to us. She said, beat her up, and I was going to left my door. And, oh boy, she went off. They arrested me. Right? The company I was working with, they abandoned me. Right? So I had no money, no job, nothing. Zero, nothing. They threw me in jail. No money for law, anything, nothing, zero. They gave me this Indian lawyer, this woman from India. Yeah, said, well, you ought to make a deal. I said, man, you better get out of here right now. I told the judge, I don't want to. Well, she said, I said, I don't want to. I don't want to. They tried to make a deal. I said, oh, I'm not interested. If y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do. I'm not making any deals or anything. And remember me, well, I got how many? 3,000 miles away from me, could be in jail for the next 7 to 8 years. It's my family again or whatever. I ain't no coward, never been a coward. So, so the thing is that the prosecutor that runs the main prosecutor, ones that run the prosecutor, got sick or something. So they had to get somebody to run take his position. So they had this guy. He's like a Perdition. He was the top lawyer on the. He was a Lutheran guy, religious guy. And he was the top lawyer on the, within his own. They asked him, would he take the guy's position while he was absent? Would he step in for him? He said, okay. So, but and that's about the same time my stuff came across his desk, so he had to sign to somebody. Right? He didn't do the job himself. He passed out someone else, right? They looked at it and said, man, this is looked at it, he said, this is shit. He said, this is bullshit. I'm gonna take this myself. I don't know this, right? So it comes to the jail where I'm at. And I said, when you deal with white people, when you first meet them, look in their eyes, they tell you everything you know. But first he saw me with my name, right? He didn't know who I was, anything. He never saw me before. So the first thing, before he could think about, but you black. First thing I know, but you black. I thought he saw the Raheem name, but I guess he thought it was out of India or something. Oh, but you black. First thing came out of his mouth. They quit himself. I guess he felt obligated, wherever he had to stick around. He said, I'm going to take your case. He's the best lawyer on the house. I ain't got to pay for him. Free. I'm not going to all the excruciating details, right? He took the case. Right? And so we finally get the trial day. And they all set up. She had some friend of hers that said she saw me beat her up, whatever. She had they had a Muslim Sunni temple, this small one. So she had told him, I'm one of those, I'm going to be a Muslim, that's what they tell about like homeless people, right? And so he couldn't wait to get his hands on me. So she had him tell, I wasn't really a Muslim and I wasn't doing all kind of stuff and he deserved to be treated bad and all kind of stuff. No, he's going to testify to. But the day before the trial, his mother died, he didn't leave the island, so he couldn't testify. The lawyer told what they got to tell what some kind of discovery thing they call it. So now the police officer arrested me. Well, he's one of them because they arrested me. But 5 cops came and got me. I was with my daughter, right? Because they had to still. I had my daughter with me, and I'm gun and everything. My little daughter, she was 3 years old at the time, right? She hated her mother because every time they took her to go with her, she started crying, but that's no story together. Anyway, the bottom line is, what's all this? I put a real violent guy. Anyway, the top, he's supposed to testify, I confessed to him, right? All this stuff. Anything in that cloud. So he had a motorcycle accident the morning of the trial. He gets in the hospital. Get the gift here. That says 2 things. It's a whole bunch of things. It sounded like there was angels there. Every time they threw a ball, he was knocking out. They couldn't understand it. So I go to trial. None of that stuff happened. They couldn't pay it. And then, there was some trial procedure and all that kind of stuff, whatever, right? They had some people come up. I didn't testify, I didn't say anything. I just said, whatever. So the lawyer do what they want to do. Bottom line is that the jury came back to the hung jury. I think one of the reasons why it was hung jury because they show you the jury thing. I didn't know that. They show you people on the jury to give you their Bible. So you gotta give it to me. And there was one woman on there, she was born the exact same day I was. Exact same day. And she was the same age. And I was wondering if she was the one that held it, because one person never held it up. He said what it was hung up on, but somebody was hung up on that I think was that. So they tried to say, we're gonna do a retrial. And the judge, he saw through all that bullshit. He said, hey, ain't gonna be no retrial. We got a mistrial, not mistrial, but he said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let him go. And if you don't get any trouble anywhere within 6 months, this case is dissolved and nothing. So, I'm just telling you the highlights. There was a whole lot of stuff background that you would believe. You know that thing's worked out? Because that mathematics works. That's not believing in Jesus. It's mathematics. Elijah Muhammad said, Islam is mathematics, mathematics is Islam. And then I got back to my wife, calling about it. Thinking back. But anyway, it worked out. Now we get along perfectly. We get along perfectly. But I was trying to convince her. She was really, I mean, she's younger than me, right? And hard-headed and rebellious. And I said, we ain't got to do that. I ain't going to tell you where to do this. I cooperate with them. But now we cooperate, we get along fine. I don't agree with a lot of stuff you do, but we cooperate. We get along fine. We have no issues whatsoever, none, zero. We don't even have no argument. Get along fine. She does what she want to do. I don't tell her what to do. But we had that little break, and that what happened in the meanwhile. And this is one instance. I can tell you many instances in my life that this works. But I never, before I met the minister, I never was taking stuff from people, all that kind of stuff. I was generating good luck for myself. I didn't realize it. Let me say one more thing on my clothes. You know, my father passed when I was 14, my mother when I was 9. So me and my sister, my little sister, she's 1 year younger than me. I didn't know anything. We was stupid as hell. Didn't know anything. Nobody told us anything. My father wasn't educated. He was a tough man, though. The bottom line is that I said, I'm going to do it. He had the family give us damn about us. I said, I don't know. I said, well, I'm going to start reading. My mother, she was hardcore Baptist. My father, he was processing the nation. I didn't know at the time. He passed his processing. I found out after I processed him, I told me he was doing that because he passed. Well, I found out, right? My mother, she was a hardcore Baptist. She died when she was early 20s. But the bottom line is, I started reading the Bible. I started going to the army. If I knew this, I never went in the army. You know what I mean? I read the Bible, and I said, well, the Bible says, whatever the Bible says, do I'm going to do. So don't eat pork. I stopped eating pork. I stopped doing that stuff. He was asked about a Muslim. I didn't know why. I didn't know what a Muslim was. I had no idea. People always ask me that. And so, I mean, black folks anyway. So bottom line, the one comes to chase here. So I'm in Vietnam my second time, right? And I get to Malachi in the Bible. And I saw Elijah said, this person must be around now. I'm a sergeant in the military. I'm a sergeant right? E5. I've been in it for 4 years. Right? I was thinking about being an officer. I was qualified. I was already qualified to be one. Just I hadn't qualified for the age. Because when I went in, I took tests and everything else. I was qualified. And then when time to go, they said, well, I waited 17, so you got 18 and a half. I got really gang. I said, why did you tell me before I came in here? That's that devil stuff. That was what I was thinking, being an officer. I was qualified to do it. All I had to just go ahead and request, because now I was in my 20s. 1966, this is 1970. I was 20 years old. No, 21. Wait a minute. 19, I was 21, right? And it was 21 when I saw that. I said, he must be around now. And also, at that, during that time, right, I started reading these books about what was going on, because about civil rights, none of that stuff. And I found out about slavery and this, and I said, wait a minute, I'm in the wrong place here. I knew what to do about it. And then I read about Elijah. So, Elijah didn't know who he was, what he was. He must be around now. I'm going to find him. I took a R&R to Hawaii. I knew I could get to the States from there. I didn't need a passport. They already see me no more. I got to New Jersey, Newark, and I ran this brother from California. And, that we knew he was strange because he moved in Newark from California. We all thought he was a little strange, right? But I talked to him every now and then. He was I got along with him all right. I told him when I was there, he said, "Man, you sound like the Muslims." I said, "Who are these Muslims?" He said, "Why don't you go out here to the temple?" He told me where it was and everything. And it turned out we actually lived a block away from what's going on. Went down there. So I figured, boy, me dashiki, throwing everything, man. I said, I just did right. Everything else, I got there, and the brother opened the door. So it happened when the brother opened the door, somebody I knew because it was a neighborhood I grew up in. They was in there. He said, "You can't come in like that." Off day, you can't come in like that. You make him like that, there, man. What's wrong with me? Before I said, let me say one thing. Before I first came back, I went to the Black Panthers. I thought it was in the Black Panthers. I met not Huey. I met Bobby Seale and Dave Hilliard. I just talked to them, went there. They were eating pork and everything. I said, "God, you can't be here." So I just that went on New Jersey, right? I said, "Man, there's something wrong with me. I'm throwing this. This can't be the place either." I thought I'm gonna get in there. Because I remember my father took me there before he passed. I didn't know what it was about. I said, "Oh." I remember, yeah, my father took me here one time. I'm gonna get in there. So I went out, with this bad suit, man. I mean, the patent leather shoot. I was sharp, man. Got me here. I showed up. They told me I had to be on Friday. I showed up Friday. But what happened to you, man? Get them on in. I got in there, and one of the first things that came out of the brother's mouth was, "Man," and I always believed that, and people thought it was crazy. I said, "God." Blood went right through me. He said, "Nobody ever got X quicker than I did." Now, in my haste, I got my X. It was beginning of August. I'm not sure what the first second. I got X the 21st of August, 1970. And that exact same day my father passed. He passed August 21st, 63. That's 7 years actually from today. I didn't register that this was Elijah. I thought this was just a church right here. I didn't know it was all over the country. They thought this is like, it hit me. I said, "Hey," I went to the minister. I said, "Minister, James Shabbat." Yeah, James Shabbat. I said, "Elijah run this place?" "Yeah." So he didn't want me to go, but he tried to talk anyway. The bottom line get to is I went there, got interested and everything else, right? A lot of things happened in the meantime. I'm not going into details. But the bottom line was, now remember, I left the military. I could have been, they caught me, I'd have been in Leavenworth. I didn't give a damn because I always thought do the right thing no matter what. That was my idea. So I'm made war, I'm from Vietnam, they could put me in Leavenworth. They couldn't have shot me because, it wasn't I didn't change my name, I didn't do anything. I was with it, I was in, I was selling papers, do everything I was supposed to, right? So the bottom line is that when Carter came president, he gave amnesty to everybody that walked away from the army, everybody that drafted out, everything else. Everybody amnesty. Right? And plus, you got full your benefits. So it's like I got everything. Just like I got everything, and nothing happened to me. Everything worked out. And on top of that, they said, "Well, you had to do 1 year. You had to do 1 year of community service. That was one thing you had to do." And so I was working on a speaking newspaper at the time. Right? I was working on a speaking newspaper. And so I told him, I said, "Well, I'm working for Nation Islam newspaper. That qualify?" He said, I'm gonna send an officer out there to look at it. So he shows up next week. He was scared to go. He looked around. "Yeah, you're qualified." That didn't work out. To get back to the bomb thing. So I left the island. Left out, right? Now remember, she pulled the switch there so you couldn't pull it again in America. See, Guam is it's not like something like Puerto Rico. It's not a state, but a territory, I think they call it. But she couldn't get, she pulled it there. The problem is, but they couldn't do a damn thing to me long as I stayed in the States. So she didn't get a damn dime, she got nothing. They kept sending me letters. We're gonna get you. You owe me $1 million in child support. Not that I'm against child support, but that was her game. You get mess me up with child support and mess me up with what do you call it? And all that stuff. But she was trying to look at all my bank accounts and everything and see if I got money. Oh, they was gonna have me jammed up for life. But if I had never went to Guam, they would have got me. See what I'm saying? I didn't know that was going down. And Guam was the only place I could have went in and killed all her plans. The only place in the world I could have went kill her plans like that. It was the American laws because it's territory. But they can't enforce the laws here if you're here in the States. You have to be in Guam to do it. They try to get me to come out of Guam. I ain't going nowhere near the place. It's not sending me letters. For years, sending me letters. You owe me $100,000. You owe $200,000 for alimony, child support, that kind of stuff. Those are two things. I can tell you more things like that. But the thing I'm saying, that's where my life goes because I don't worry about anything. I don't worry about a goddamn thing. Especially after I finally got the master of it. I said, I don't worry about anything. I don't take any shit from anybody. Because I understand the math of it. So if that makes sense, I figure I just have a little fireside chat, so to speak. Because if you understand that, you apply it, most of your problems go away. Some of them, you got to work because you create a whole lot of bad luck. You got to work that bad luck off. Doing good to others works it off. Then once you get in the zone of good luck, then you magnify that good luck, get better and better and better. I'm 76 years, I'll be 77 not too long from now. I'm in good health. Now I'm going to the doctor. These doctors, boy, if I listen to doctors, I'd be bandaged up in a wheelchair, Alzheimer's, every damn thing else. Right? Like this one doctor, they tell me, the insurance company tell me, I got to go 1 year or something like that. And one doctor, you doing hard for your age, you do this and all that kind of stuff, man. He said, man, after about 6 or 7 months with that guy, ate by a year. I said, I ate 1 meal a day. That dude, and usually it's 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. He's been an hour and a half trying to convince me I should be eating 1 meal a day. He just told me that's a shake. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. I'm not getting to the rest of the stuff. But I just have a little chat on this. Because you come to have your life more abundantly, but for our kind of bullshit Scientology stuff, okay, go with it. This protects your need to get a time of unprecedented trouble. Because this hell's break loose in a minute. It's breaking loose now. You just don't see it. That's why you go tribulation, because you have to master this to get through tribulation. It says you will not return unless you have thorough knowledge of self. That's thorough knowledge of self. How to control yourself, how to control because God means he controls his atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? He controls the environment. You understand? It's reality. That's how you control your reality. First, you have to know your reality, understand it. You don't understand this. He understands this, so he had no idea. So that's the fallacy of money. Or get all the money you can. Okay, yeah, you got it, but you're building bad luck at the same time. They think, the woman I get, you go for that she's into. Those people all that money, you think they're doing all that well? Michael Jackson had a lot of money, didn't he? What happened? Whitney Houston had a lot of money. What happened to Prince? Why was he taking drugs? They had all the money. Why was he on drugs? That's the illusion. The illusion. It's not money. That's what money is root of all evil. They're lying on that one. You understand what I told you? If you want more detail in that presentation, go into more detail, explain more detail. That's the key to heaven. What we have given you, that's what I said. Why? It's about what we've given you. How do I know what's given me? Everybody gets the same amount. There's no preferences. It's just what you do is. What you do with it. When you look in the mirror, it's how you've been investing your energy. How you invest your energy. If you got bad luck, done because you've been taking energy, doing stuff to other people, hurting other people, trying to control other people. You're going to control yourself. I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. I understand. I had a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but I figured I want to spend time on that today. Yeah. I guess I talk too much, Bill, so I can't believe it. It goes by like it does. All right. Assalamu alaikum. I was going to talk about all these things, brothers and sisters. Ain't no way. Hold that to tomorrow.
We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. These are these people that you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work, and they've tried. We've tried. Everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud in interviews. He is a racist. It's been proven time and time again. The man had Mein Kampf on his bedside table that he would read at night. Enough to let you know where he stands on that. Just more outrageous, racist things from Donald Trump. They want to arrest those who can do the farm work, well, until their backs give out. And then he'll probably ship them to El Salvador or some other country. Just more vile statements from the president and let you know where he stands.
When they were arresting people for praying outside of abortion clinics. I mean, I do think the UK, and I say this as, someone who is half English, I think it's like reached, or it is quickly reaching a point where democratic reforms are going to be pretty tough because of the demographic change. And that, of course, the point of importing all these people is to overwhelm the people who live there who disapprove of the program. So you don't have to care what they think because you just bring in new people and their will becomes like all that matters. And so I don't think you're going to fix these things through elections at some point, probably pretty soon. And I just worry a place like the UK, Canada is another, a bunch of different countries in the West are at the point where they're literally revolutionary. They are poised for revolution. And as someone who really doesn't support revolution and hates violence and hates civil war above all, I'm worried about that. I mean, I don't see how this is fixed. Starmer, who's, he's just an instrument of larger forces, but he's a poisonous character, obviously, who's really hurt your country. He's in there for, 4 more years? And so you wonder, people are going to start to get really radical in a scary way. I think this is going to happen. And the people in charge don't seem to care.
Well, you're already seeing it. You are seeing the anger beginning to manifest itself, and I completely understand the anger. I don't like you. I abhor any form of violence, but I do understand the anger when you have, Keir Starmer campaigned, I'm going to smash the gangs that allow these little boats to come over the channel, delivering tens of thousands of people illegally into the country. And they then get put into these so-called asylum hotels where they're given a pretty good lifestyle, certainly a far better lifestyle than many people really struggling at the moment in the UK. And of course, far from smashing the gangs, it turned out yesterday that he's smashing new records for the number of people coming in illegally on the boats. Of course. It's out of control. And the British public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly?
Public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly? You'd really have to force a lot of people to go back to their countries of origin, millions of people, and you need to do it really soon. And are they actually willing to do that? I don't know, but these are existential questions that we have been browbeat into ignoring for decades. But the question is like, is Ireland Ireland? If it's majority non-Irish, oh, shut up, they're Irish. No, they're actually not Irish. Same with the UK, same with England, Scotland, Wales. Like, it's all changing so fast. Nothing like this has ever happened in all of history, except when, say, the Mongols swept across the steppe and raped everybody. Like, that was true demographic change on this scale. But even that wasn't as profound as what we're seeing in every white country around the world. I would say the West, but Australia and New Zealand also. So, like, what is that? Now, my brain is not big enough to understand what that is. I have a lot of theories about it, but I don't know if they're true. All I know is what the numbers are, and that's real, and no one feels that he can say it. Everyone's like, oh, well, if that were happening in China or India or Malaysia or Senegal, it doesn't matter. You'd be like, what the hell is that? Like, the population's totally different. Look at graduation. Pick, King's College Law School, and look at the graduation picture for the last 30 years. Who's in it? Just like, let your eyes tell you the truth for once. Like, this is a total change in population. Is it better? Is it worse? Can't have that conversation. Who's pushing this? Does the population want it? The population clearly doesn't want it. There's no polling that's meaningful on the subject. I mean, there's no referendum on it. You don't get to decide. You've got no voice in it, other than you get to go to jail if you complain loudly enough about it. What is this? I think it's the biggest and darkest thing that has happened in the last 1,000 years, for sure. And I think it's leading somewhere really, really bad. It's not happening by accident, that's obvious, because it's only happening in white countries.
I mean, I think that...
Oh, shut up, white supremacist. Well, in fact, I'm not a white supremacist.
Well,
I'm just noticing what the hell's going on.
I think most people I've spoken to about this in the UK, most people have always viewed the UK to be a very tolerant, multicultural, cosmopolitan place to live. That's why so many people want to come here. And people have no problem with that. And it's been very successful for a long period of time.
But it's multicultural? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law... What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law every bit as valid as English common?
No, people don't want Sharia law here. No.
A lot of people do. Wait, but hold on. I don't know what you mean. Multiculturalism itself is a lie designed to subvert a society. No, a society has a culture. You can argue about what it is or ought to be. It's not necessarily the same as race. It's connected to race, but it's not the same. People from different races can buy into your culture. That was kind of the beauty of the West. But a multicultural society is not sustainable. There's never been
your
such a
society
thing.
Is
one
about
culture will dominate.
Hang on, Tucker. Surely the United States of America, given the very way it was created, is the epitome of a multicultural society. And my point I was going to make to you was...
It's absolutely not. No. It's a multiracial society.
Yeah.
Though it was not actually a multiracial society up until pretty recent. It was just like 90% white for most of its existence, but whatever. But you did have different peoples, you had different religions. That was all totally fine, but there was one culture, as American culture. There's no such thing as a multicultural society. It's not sustainable. One culture will overwhelm the other. Again, it's not the same as race. It's not identical to race. It's connected, but it's not the same. But multiculturalism is by definition insane. No, it's never happened. It never will happen. One culture will predominate. It will impose its values on everybody else. I mean, the gay thing, which was not a thing 40 years ago, gay was a slur, all of a sudden becomes multicultural there. There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 27 amendments? Right, so your own values, as determined by the Founding Fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's
determined by the Founding Fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So those values can evolve.
There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 27 amendments? Right, so your own values, as determined by the Founding Fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. Natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's multicultural, we can all live and have radically different values, that's just not true. It's never been true. It never will be true. So you're having one culture, one worldview predominate over another and dominate and suppress all dissent. That's just what it is, dude. Let's be honest.
I would point to the United States of America and the United Kingdom as two shining examples, albeit not completely without their flaws, but shining examples of places that are deemed by the rest of certainly feel that about my country.
Well, I certainly think that inherent in Christianity is the notion of tolerance, and that draws from a core Christian concept, which is free will. You cannot force someone to convert. There's never been conversion by the sword in Christianity. People decide to believe in it. And so that is central to the religion, therefore it's been central to the society. Western civilization is Christian civilization. And so we call that tolerance. It's a respect for your inherent God-given right to make a choice about what you believe. Okay, so of course, that's always been a feature. My only point is, a society has a commonly agreed upon set of beliefs, rules, and laws that are the definition of the society itself. That's what a society is. So you can't have competing. You can't have, gay world and Sharia world living co-equally in a society. That does not happen. It will never happen. You have to pick one. Are we the Sharia society? Are we the party time gay rights society? Which one? And you can't face that reality. So you're just sort of snoozing along until the inevitable point where you're going to wake up and be like, my values have no bearing on what our society is anymore, because we've been invaded by other people with a totally different worldview, and they're now in charge. And that day is coming very soon for your country, and maybe it'll improve it. I don't think the UK could be a lot worse than it already is. It's this kind of disgusting, sad, self-hating, suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English person, but that day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architect. That's a choice that we're all going to face. Suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English. That day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architects of mass migration. Sorry.
I would question your characterization of my country as a sad, disgusting, what's the rest of it, suicidal nation. I feel none of those things. I feel very happy to be in the United Kingdom, and I feel that there are lots of very happy.
Our system, the Western system, which is very distinct from the Eastern system, very distinct, and it's distinct on this one precise point, we believe and have always believed since this country was founded, since your country became, not a pure monarchy, but even when it was a pure monarchy, the belief in the West, because of Christianity, was the worst thing you can do is punish the innocent. That's the worst thing you can do. That's worse than not punishing the guilty. And we often said that to each other. We no longer say that because there is a pretty concerted effort to blur the meaning of these terms. But I'm not going to be deterred from defining words precisely. Terror is murdering people, killing people, punishing people who committed no crime. Period.
So when the Israeli government says it has repeatedly that even though over 20,000 completely innocent children are believed to have died in their response to what Hamas did on October the 7th at the hands of the IDF, there are many on the pro-Palestinian side who say that Israel is behaving like terrorists too in the way that they have gone about conducting this war. Would you go as far as to say that?
One of the things that I really object to now is this relentless focus on Israel, which, by the way, is a foreign country that I have nothing to do with.
We've done this before. Now, maybe today things are different, and we will end up living in a nation that is sharply divided and may ultimately produce something else. But I'm an American. I love my country. I want to see it stay together. I'm interested in social cohesion, which means that I think our laws, customs, and culture have to be dominant. We can accept some diversity on the edges, but not fundamental division. I think we're in a state of fundamental division. So when I bring up Sharia law, I've sat in many discussions with many people that said, well, I don't care what people look like, but I do care about Sharia law, and I don't want that practiced anywhere near my family or in my country. And that's something you should be aware of. So the notion that someone can come here and say, well, that's part of my religion and we're going to abide by Sharia law, they're going to find serious resistance and opposition in the country.
And as I clarified,
it's because it matters. It's this thing we call societal cohesion. Nations do not exist on their own. They have a core population. Our core population from the very beginning was always at least 80% European and Christian, and about 15 to 20% African. But when you start bringing in huge numbers, millions, who are fundamentally different from the core population, you are going to get violence, anger, and conflict. How many times have you heard people say, if you bring people in from the developing world, what do you get? The developing world. And now we've got that. You can't bring in hundreds of thousands of people from Somalia, plant them, of all places, in Minnesota, and then be shocked that, no, they're not Americans. They're not really interested in being Americans. They're foreigners living on American soil. Nobody wants to say that publicly. If you do, oh, well, you're a racist. Well, you know, the world is full of racists. The real war that's going to decide our fate is not going to be fought anywhere overseas. It's going to be fought right here inside the United States. Are we going to survive as a republic, as an English-speaking republic that rests on the foundations of Western civilization? Or are we going to become something else?
One point that is
Constitution was completed in 1789. I think we had 5 million people living in the 13 British colonies. We were 90% white, that is excluding the Africans who were in the country who had been brought here as slaves. But we were 90% white. We were 90% Protestant. And this may be hard for you to believe, but the people that wrote that were trying to protect all of the Protestant sects from a state church on the model of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church. That's one of the reasons it was almost 100 years or more after that before people began to finally accept Catholicism as a religion, because it was viewed as political power. My point to you is the Constitution is outdated. The way we are governed is outdated. It has to be re-examined. Nobody in 1789 imagined that anybody would come to the United States except another lunatic, religious fanatical Protestant who hated the Church of England. That's what people feared. That's what they thought of. The Constitution that we have does many good things, but I would argue that the Bill of Rights is ultimately more important. The Bill of Rights is vital and essential, and that needs to be defended. But the Constitution and the way we govern and the things that we're doing, it's out of date. It doesn't fit our needs. And that's back to my comment on something given has no value. You have to earn it. And we haven't made anybody earn their place in this country. I'm talking about people like me that have been here forever. My first ancestor stepped off the boat in 1681. So we've got to get back to some notion of national service, because national service promotes national integration. It addresses some of these problems that you're discussing. Now, I know that you may not want to conform and may not want to be as I am, but I'm an American and nobody questions that. Nobody ever will. If you don't want to stand out and be questioned, then I suggest that you change your appearance, because I don't think it's life or death for you to wear what you wear.
I think this conversation.
It's not fine, because it's leading to violence that could have otherwise been avoided. You see, every great nation, every large nation can always accept some number of people into its ranks that are different from them. It's always been the case. But if you suddenly import millions, which is what's happened here and happened in Europe, then you threaten the core gene pool. What I'm trying to tell you is there's a problem. And we can all pretend that there isn't, and you can insist there isn't, but that's the view. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to address it truthfully and openly. Stop pretending it's not a problem. It's a problem.
I mean, what's also a problem is white supremacy, and that's
no, because of you're saying you're different, you're going to remain different, and you don't think that if that's not compatible with being an American, then the hell with it. That's what you're going to do.
Well, then what do you make then of, white American people who convert, let's say, to Islam and choose to cover? Are they not American anymore?
Listen, if they want to do that, that's obviously their business. I don't know how many are out there that do that. I think again, it's ill-advised. I think you have to hold the society together. There has to be an agreement on certain things, customs, culture, way of life. And unfortunately, if you're going to practice rigidly a brand of Islam that demands certain things, and this is why I asked right off the bat, do you support Sharia law?
I'm a Muslim. What being a Muslim means is I follow the guidelines of my religion, which is a peaceful.
Does your religion dictate to you Sharia law?
My religion dictates to me to be a good human being. to be good to my neighbors, to
that the most powerful force in today's Republican Party is represented by what Charlie Kirk said. It is this drive to make America a white Christian nation. I got to tell you, this is what they say privately. This is now what they say publicly. This is what Charlie Kirk said publicly.
And Joe, again, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because you know these people very, very well. Yeah. You said it yourself. You were one of the strongest voices. You were one of the folks who understood the incendiary language when you were in Congress, when you had your radio show, and how people loved when you did it. And then when you chose to apologize for that and turn away from it, oh my God, they literally have just tried to destroy you because of that.
Yeah, again, you know the deal, Roland, right? I came out publicly against Trump 7 years. For 7 years, I put up with death threats on a regular basis. Nobody is welcome in that party unless you bow down to what this force is, this MAGA force. And again, look, there have been some people on the left who've celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. Shame on them, be better people. But this is much worse, Roland, what my former friends are doing on the right, because they are turning this into a holy war. When you say we declare war on the left because of what some 22-year-old young guy did in Utah, and then you declare war on the whole left, that's a lot worse than celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, because that's dishonest, but that's also inciting hate and violence. And Roland, look, Trump's an idiot. So yeah, Trump says the left, the problem in the country is the left. J.D. Vance is not an idiot. What did J.D. Vance say today, right? He was subbing for Charlie Kirk on his radio show, and he spent the entire show going after the left, going after them, they, them. Man, Democrats need to wake up, Roland. This is a really serious deal by my former colleagues. The stuff that I hear privately from them right now, Roland, for the last 5 days, I mean, they want to go to war. This is a holy war.
Oh, it absolutely is. And what really jumps out at me on this very thing here, Joe, and I've been saying this, I played the speech 2 weeks ago that mainstream media just ignored, of Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who gave a speech at NatCon, Peter Thiel's group, where he literally gave a white nationalist speech, where he said our ancestors fought for this country to be ours and no one else. He was talking about white people. He was basically saying, if you are Black, Latino, Asian American, or even Native American, America is not for you. And folks just ignored it. And so people need to understand, again, what they're saying, why they're saying it. And yes, there are many evangelicals, any very conservative white Christians who are pushing this as well. And you nailed it. They want a holy war. They want a race war. They want this to be a white country. It is clear as day.
And Roland, really important point. Charlie Kirk, at only 31, the impact he had, because he was one of the most successful pushers of this white Christian nationalistic idea. And so I think that's why all of his defenders are out there so strenuously denying he said anything divisive, because they know if you really go through Charlie Kirk's public record, everything he said about people
people of color and black women and Muslims and gays and transgenders, if people took the time to go through all of that, and that was put out for average people to see, they'd be blown away by it. That's why his defenders are like supercharged right now. They don't want that record to be seen.
Today, you mentioned, and I mentioned as well, Vice President J.D. Vance sitting to do his show. And listen to this man just blatantly lie, Joe. Play it.
I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend, Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Bullshit.
Okay, Joe, this is actually what he said.
No, Roland, that's utter bullshit.
In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color.
All right, Joe. He literally said it. Not only that, Vance lied. Soros does not fund the nation. So he sat there and flat out lied.
And Roland, remind me, what's J.D. Vance's job? He's the vice president, and yet he had time today to do a radio show for a former right-wing podcaster. I mean, look what they're not even, Roland, they're not even subtle about it, what this White House is doing. They believe, man, the path to victory is fear, hate, and division. And that's what they're putting out there. That was Charlie Kirk literally going after 4 accomplished black women by saying they didn't have the brain power to get where they got. This is what he believed. And this is what MAGA believes. And that, again, Roland, broken record, that's why Charlie Kirk was so damn successful. Why he had such a big audience.
Yeah, and not only that, you take Nick Fuentes, who's to the right of Charlie Kirk. The night of or the day after Kirk was shot and killed, Fuentes had 200,000 people watching him live. And so what you have this fervor. And so when I listen to Trump and Vance and all these people talk about, how the left, they're indoctrinating. No, and you know this very well. The indoctrination indoctrination. We've had people who formerly are with Turning Point USA put out videos talking about how it was really this cult-like figure, this messianic figure, as they sort of set Kirk up as, and how they want them to follow that. And so that's what's going on here. These people are not trying to have open dialogue. And not only that, Joe, you take Trump, okay? Trump was very clear in saying he was not going to call Governor Tim Walz after those 4 folks were shot in Minnesota. 2 were killed, including former Speaker of the House and her husband. Now today he's saying, oh, he never even heard of Melissa Hortman, and if the governor had asked him, he would have, of course, lowered the flags to have staff. I'm sorry, he's also lying. He knew about her. He knew about the shooting, but he was so arrogant that he said, oh, 2 Democrats, a Democrat Speaker of the House shot and killed? Yeah, I don't care, but lower the flags to have staff with Charlie Kirk. Flies body on Air Force 2. Do a memorial service at the Kennedy Center. Do another one at the Arizona Cardinal Stadium. Give him the Medal of Freedom. And I'm telling you, they're going to give him a state funeral. That's what you're seeing right now. And then you got Peter Hegseth going after members of the military who said anything in the negative in the aftermath of his death. You've got Kirk supporters creating a database of people of every social media post, and then even Vance saying in the podcast, you call their employer. So the so-called free speech people all of a sudden are saying, if you say anything negative about Charlie Kirk after what took place last week, we're going to come after you, come after your job. Oh, I thought they hated cancel culture, Joe.
Yeah. Roland, I remember back in my right-wing radio days, I would come on every day, and there was always some story about some leftist group on a college campus that couldn't handle speech that made them uncomfortable
to say.
Roland, this is scary, and you and I are old enough, man, to remember huge figures in American history who were gunned down, struck down, military leaders, civil rights leaders. We are treating this 31-year-old podcaster, MAGA influencer, like he's Jesus Christ. So I come from the right. Why are my old colleagues and friends on the right doing this, Roland? Because the right wants a religious war. Let's just call it. They want a civil war. They want a holy war. That's why they're putting him up to be some Jesus-like martyr.
Absolutely. I mean, Glenn Beck literally came out and said he was a civil rights leader. Oh, my God, stop it. Stop it. I've seen people say, I've seen a lot of these videos, I'm leaving my church because my pastor did not mention him. This was a Christian warrior. And let's just be clear. You said it, white Christian nationalists. It's slaveholder religion. We heard a lot of this stuff during slavery, during Jim Crow, things along those lines. And this whole idea about, it was about debate. It was about, exchange of ideas. I mean, come on, let's just stop it. And so we see what's going on here. We see the games that are being played. And then what gets me, Joe, is this whole deal of, oh my God, the left, how they indoctrinated him and the accused killer going to a university. The dude was at a university for 1 semester, Joe. You're trying to tell me that 1 semester at a mostly white institution in Mormon, Utah, which is not a liberal bastion, somehow just radicalized him? I mean, it really is showing folks the hand they're trying to play.
Yeah, and I think even on top of that, Roland, I think it was like some technical school. So it wasn't some crazy liberal arts school for a semester. Look, cut through all the BS. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has publicly said that America should be a white Christian country. This is what animates my former party. Roland, you know me, right? Tea Party Hellraiser. I don't come from the left. I left the Republican Party when the Republican Party became MAGA. And my fellow Democrats and folks on the left need to understand Now these people are on the right. Now this is MAGA. MAGA now are the snowflakes. MAGA, Roland, they now need their safe spaces. It's funny, but it's not funny. And you're right about J.D. Vance, man. He just flat out lied. I mean, the last 30-year history of political violence in this country, the vast majority of it is right-wing. It always has been. And they put out this lie that it's only on the left. It's not even, Roland, a both sides problem between the left and the right. There is political violence on the left, but the vast majority is on the right, and they know that, and they're lying because they're trying to inflame their base. And Roland, I hear from their base every day, and let me tell you something, they are inflamed. I mean, they are ready to march and grab their you-know-what. This is a scary time.
It is, and folks need to understand what is certainly at stake. Joe Walsh, I appreciate you joining us on the show.
History of the cross, known by their works. What's the history of the cross? 500-year history of the cross. Murder, rape, destruction, deception, enslavement, burning, terrorizing. To maintain a slavery system, you must terrorize the people 24/7. They terrorize people from Africa and America for 400 years. Constant terror, 24/7. Rape, murder. In the name of Jesus. This was Christians, not Buddhists, not Hindus. Christians, in the name of Jesus, where they said Jesus cursed black people, they call them Ham, cursed them to be slaves and persecuted forever. In the name of Jesus, raped our women incessantly, pissed in our mouths, made us eat shit. And they took and tried to clean up, not clean it up, but make it look more fashionable, I guess, by calling it chitlins. That's after slavery, of course, after so-called slavery. Because what was into it was not slavery. Look up slavery. Look up slavery. It does include murder, rape, terror. This is a Holocaust. And then now they try to downplay it. Oh, that was 400 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. I don't care if it was a million years ago. It was 40 years ago. It lasts for 400 years. As they're doing today. They took everything away from the slaves. Everything. Their name, their culture, their families, their religion, their minds, everything. Fed their children to alligators as alligator bait. And then they talk about what's going on in Gaza when they did 1,000 times worse. What's going over in Gaza now is simply just a miniature version of what they did. What they did was far worse than what's going on in Gaza. Gaza's bad. It's genocide. What they did was far worse and much longer. That's the legacy of Christianity. Murder, rape, disease. They wiped out the native population with genocide and disease. Smallpox blankets, knowing they was full with disease. Herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea from sleep with animals. So-called common cold was not common. It didn't exist here on this side of the world until they brought it here. Murder, rape. When they was raping out women, they had a cross hanging from their neck. And again, they taught black and this was God's will. God's will. The enslavement of our people. And they continue on even today. That's the legacy of Christianity, the cross. So where's your rap sheet? Every time they arrest one of our people, your rap sheet. What's your rap sheet? How are you going to judge people for murder when you're guilty of murder beyond imagination for hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Theft. You stole this land and murdered his people. And you crushed the native people here. When the braves would go out hunting, you would come into the camps like cowards and kill the women and smash the children's brains out on the hooves of your horses. This is the legacy of Christianity. That's the legacy of it. The question is, if instead of Columbus coming here, Dracula came here, Beelzebub, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Satan, and they all came instead of Columbus. What could they have done that Columbus and those that followed him did? Satan is the God of this world. That's the God they're serving. They have known him by their works. What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? Where's the works of Christianity? Evil, deception, mischief, bloodshedding. It goes on today. And what's going on in Gaza, just reflection and microcosm of what was done here in America for hundreds of years. Raped out women incessantly. They would even rape while they was out in the fields picking cotton. They would jump off their horse and tell them to bend over and rape them. And tell them to keep picking cotton while they was doing it. This is the kind of stuff that they would do. Make one slave defecate and slave up in the mouth of another slave, and then bound it up so he couldn't spit it out for 7 days. That's a legacy of slavery. You did it all in the name of Jesus. That's a legacy of slavery. Legacy of slavery. 40 years plus. Legacy of Christianity. Legacy of the cross. That's the legacy. That's the true legacy. So whose works are those? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? The legacy of the cross. Where's your rap sheet, America? Gog? Where's your rap sheet, Magog? Britain? Where's your mateship? Where's your rap sheet? Antichrist, false Israel. Rap sheet. Then they colonized Africa. They're stealing from ripping off everyone. That's the legacy of Christianity. It's been ruling for over 500 years. And now, the threat of nuclear war to finish off everything. That's a legacy of Christianity in the name of your Jesus.
Talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. The heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system. And do it
back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And the ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the whole rhythm, crying, wanting to return. With their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You are now turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you are free. Remember that.
and going westward or going out there in the land, ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. What the heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Put it back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the whole rhythm, crying, wanting to return. With their hands stretched out towards that ship and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You and I turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you are free. Remember that.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Veteran of Covenant. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's been a year now, and we're finally home after 40 years in Arabia. I'm reporting to you from Arabia. finally home after 40 years. Right? And so we've been here a year now. And there was an agreement made. A former slave master, he said, we had a choice. Stay here or leave. Right? So we chose our inheritance, Arabia. So we left. And half the original people decided they wanted to give up their inheritance and traded for a place in America in reconciliation with their former slave master. That's their choice. They chose, said, we don't want to go over to Arabia. We don't go over there where there's sand and all that stuff. We want to stay here in America. We've been here all our lives, been here 40 years, born here, right? And we can make peace with our slave master. Okay, so they decided to stay. And so after a year, right, we're getting reports of how things are going over there. And it doesn't sound too good. How things are going over in America with their reparations. Because they was given, they got 6 states, I believe. Yeah, see? Yeah. Yeah, they got those 6 states right there. That's what Farrakhan told them. You know, they was listening to Farrakhan. Farrakhan promised them, you know, they stay there, 6 states, right? Had their own land. And they can make reconciliation with the former slave master. They're not devils. They're not devils. They're human beings. They just had a rough, you know, they were just, you know, did some things wrong, but now they, you know, they're gonna make amends and make reparations. So 6 states, and in addition to that, they gave everybody $1 million. Everybody stayed $1 million. Right? Say, thank you, Farrakhan. They're so happy. Thank you, Farrakhan. Thank you, Farrakhan. Man, you got 6 states. That's what you promised us. We got 6 states. They're thanking you. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? And you know, I mean, this was a year ago. They got the 6 states. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? Everybody got $1 million. Everybody $1 million. And they're rejoicing. Oh man, they're so happy. Hey, we came here. We made it. We got America, man. We got reconciliation for a master. We got 6 states. Everybody got $1 million. We're all rich. That was a year ago when we left. So we're in Arabia. They're still back there in America. And now we're getting reports a year later. This was the way it was a year ago, man. They were so happy. They were so happy. Right? And now we get reports of what's going on right now. Let's see. Oops, it says a power failure. Great power failure in those 6 states. Power failure. And just those 6 states. Right? So, and now they had a big and massive, they came asking to turn the power. Well, why can't they do it? Oh, Farrakhan didn't train anybody. He was telling you about 6 states, he never prepared you for them. So nobody knows how to do it. How to turn the power grid back on. So now he's begging, man, master, can you come and turn this thing back on for us? I mean, you would think that if he told them 6 states to promise them that he would have prepared them for it, right? Their schools and education, whatever they needed for that. But I guess they didn't, because they said over there now he's begging the former master to come and turn the power back on. And then what? I mean, this is all that's happening now. I mean, I'm getting these imports in now, a year later. It's like, They're coming in every hour. Power grid failure, right? Then say, oops, crop failure. All of a sudden, there's no. They say, they looked at the farmers when they done it. Farmers said, oh. So then they had master, what's happening here? How come right? Our crop. They found that the land they gave them wasn't that fertile. A year later, nothing's growing. Crop failure. And now master, what's happening here? Right? And then, all these things, every hour that's coming in, right? And then they look, and they had, a year ago they had plenty of food on the shelves, right? And now, they look there now and all the food's gone. It's gone. And she said, what am I going to do here? Food's gone. The house is empty. So he said, Master, we need some food. Well, how come you can't produce your own food? You want your own country. You got your own states. That's your country. Then you run it. What are you calling us for? Right? So they're praying. And then, oops, no fuel. There's Master, no fuel there. Well, you got to buy your fuel. You got to produce your own fuel. What you calling us for? You got your own 6 states now. What you calling us for? Go and get some fuel. You got money, right? You got your own states. So you got to get your own. What you calling us for? You said you wanted your own, so now you got it. And you got your reparation, so we don't owe you anything anymore. We don't owe you anything anymore, so what you calling us for? We don't owe you anything. You said you agreed to 6 states and $1 million per person. You took that instead of your inheritance, what you call the Abrahamic covenant, Arabia. Your brothers and sisters, they left. They took that was offered to them. They took it, and you said no. I want this instead. So now you got it. So what you calling us for? Oh, no communications. Oh man, no communications, right? No medical facilities. So what's going on, Master? Wait a minute, hold on. What you calling us for? That's yours. You got to handle that stuff. You want us to handle it for you? You want independence, now you have it. Wow, this stuff was coming every hour, man. Instead of a year, they was celebrating. And now they crying and begging the Master, hey, we got all these problems here. I said, wait a minute, that's yours. What you come about your problems? You have to work those out. Right? No transportation, no planes, nowhere. We don't know about fly the planes and to drive the trucks and the boats and stuff and to go and get this stuff. Well, what you done that for? You wanted this, you got it. So go ahead and train your own pilots, build your own planes, build your own boats and right? You see what I'm saying? Transportation, build your own trucks. What you calling for? Yeah, Master, we see this. You said you wanted 6 states, you got it. You want $1 million per person. That was the reparations. So then if you didn't prepare people to take care of this, how's that our problem? You're independent now. You're really free now. Oops, no fuel, the gas station's empty. I can't drive, man. And no gas. Man, wow. All this stuff happened for a year. They thought that everything was great, and all of a sudden everything ran out. So guess what happened? Everything was there when they got it, and then it ran out. They had to, for them to replace the fuel, to get the farms going. So they was left with that stuff. The factory was full. Warehouses full. Then you had to keep. They thought that was just going. I guess they thought it was just going to be there, just by itself. They're prepared for it. See? And they ain't trained any engineers and scientists and architects and stuff. They business. They didn't train anybody. So Farrakhan, he told you he's gonna get this for you, but he didn't prepare you for it. He didn't get anybody to handle this stuff. So what was that all about? So now he asked the master, said, hey, don't call on me. You was here, you had it when you was here with me. You said you want independence, you wanted reparations, so you gave it to you. Well, calling your brothers over there. They left, they handled their own business. You said you want to stay here. Right? See? You don't have any professionals or technicians, scientists, doctors, none of that. See? I mean, that's what, because I mean, if you're going to set reparation, you should be preparing for that, right? So if he was telling you about reparation, you should be preparing for it. If he said God said that's where he's going to get you, so if God told him he's going to get that for you, then he should, like when God told Noah there was a flood coming, to only build an ark, so he started building an ark. And so you should start preparing for the 6 states and the reparations, but apparently you didn't. And so now, it does say, look, hold it. We want total separation. I mean, look, we don't want you to call us no more. We don't want you to call us no more. Because you're wearing us. You want your own country. You got your own land. Right? You got money, $1,000,000, all this stuff, right? And so now we got to protect your money and everything too? No, you have to create your own money. You have to do all these things, your own wealth, not ours. Right? So we're going to cut you off from that too. It's all economics. So they go and tell it. They tell all the people all the white folks, right? Because all the black folks, now all the black folks is either in Arabia or in those 6 states. That's the solution. You had to be one way or the other. There couldn't be no integration, that kind of stuff. That's the deal. You just said one or the other. So all the black folks are there, ain't no integration, that kind of stuff, right? Black folks are there, one or the other, so they're there. So they said, okay, right? So they just said, we're going to take that money because we don't know what y'all doing over there. You have your own money, you have your own wealth. So what they do is they tell all the white folks, say, protect your money, right? Transfer your money into gold. Just all your dollars into gold. Okay. Now remember, they gave everybody $1 million a piece. So everybody got $1 million a piece, right? And so they transfer it to gold. And then what happens is that what they do is they start just printing money. White folks just start printing money. You understand what that means? That's inflation. Right? Because if you got $1 million of gold, a million ounces of gold, I said 1 million ounces of gold, understand this, and you got 1 million certificates, then you say each certificate is worth 1 ounce. If you got 1 million ounces, each certificate is worth 1 ounce. Understand that? If you got 1 million ounces of gold, and you got 1 million certificates, each one of those certificates is worth 1 million. If you want to say trade with the certificates, each one of the certificates is worth 1 ounce of gold. Right? But if you take and print, you say you got 1 million ounces of gold, and you got 1 million certificates, each one. But say you print twice as many certificates, you got 2 million. Well, then each certificate is only worth 50 cents now, because you got to connect that to the gold. Well, you print 4 times, then each one is worth a quarter. So the more you print, the less they worth, because those certificates has to equal what the gold is. You understand? So the more you print money, the less, right? The less they're worth. So if you print twice as much money, right, there's less gold. You understand? So if $1 is worth 1 ounce of gold, which that's right, then if you print double that amount of dollars, then each one's worth half an ounce. You understand? That's what printing money without increasing the wealth does. That's inflation. So what happens is They keep printing. They get down to where $100 is worth a penny. But see, that doesn't affect their people. They try to protect their money because they transfer their money to gold. So gold still has its value. It's just the dollars don't. It still got the same amount of gold. But the dollars, they get down to a penny. So you can't buy it. You had $1 million, now your $1 million worth of $5. That's all it's worth. $1. Hardly worth anything. Hey, that's our money. You gotta have your own money, you control your own wealth. You can't keep coming at us what you're doing. And you think they wouldn't do that? Yeah, you've been a Gaza lately? You see what happened to the trees they made with the so-called natives? Kept telling me you had a forked tongue because they kept making trees with them, then they broke the trees. And took their land and genocide and everything else. But no, they wouldn't do that to you. See? Because now you have, your money's worth nothing. They haven't lost anything. Because once that money's worthless, it's no good, right? Then you burn it up, throw it away, it's worth nothing. The people still got gold. And even if they take it, hold on to money, hope to increase again, they just use another different certificate, use another form of money. So it's still worth nothing. That $1 million you had, you're so happy with it now, it's probably worth maybe $1. So you can't buy anything with $1. Plus the economy's collapse because everything is failing, and you don't know how to repair it. You don't know how to get those communications. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. You're not an engineer, build a house, you don't know how to do anything because Farrakhan didn't. Right? He didn't prepare you. He told you he'll give you 6 days. He told you, listen to me, right? So now you're broke and your economy is gone. You have no food, no electricity, no power, anything, right? It's not their fault. They gave you what you asked for. You saw at your inheritance for that. And then they closed the border. Because you want to try to get back into America now. We want to come back in, Master. No, we don't want you back in here. We sorry, we want to come in. No. That's you chose. You stay there. They closed the border, so you can't get back in here. You can't get back in America, into what you could call your land now? Swaziland or something? Farrakhan. Maybe call it travel land. Farrakhan. Named after Farrakhan. Right? So they close the borders, you can't. Because now you're hungry and everything else, your money's worthless. Oh God, come back, Master, I'll come back work for you, I'll work for Popeyes, I'll do anything you want. No, remember, now blacks, either they over in Arabia or they in that land. There are no blacks in America, any places, just in that land that you 6 days. And now you're starving, you ain't got your money's worthless, nothing works, and they close the border. Right? And then you see Master, you on the phone, you talking to the guy that you kept treating, help you. Hey, we finally got rid of them niggas. Finally got rid of them. See on the phone. Yeah, it worked. We sold them no reparations. We sold them that used car. You turned the miles back and everything else, and they bought it. See? They could have had a BMW. They could have had a Lamborghini. They sold it for a BMW that looked good. Damn thing didn't work. And now they're starving, living in tents. Praying. So what? Then what next? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? You told us to take reparations, so we did. But they gave us everything we asked for. What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do? Pray. That's his answer. Pray. That's your reparations. Like Elijah Muhammad said, he had a big picture. We leaving, and blacks staying on the shore, the ones stay behind, and they was whooping their ass. Right? Because they thought you think they want to give you some land and take care of you? You think they want to do that? And go bankrupt, give everybody $1 million? You know how much that is? If it's 17 million, that's 17 million times 17 million times a million is like $17 trillion, I think, something like that there. Then they're gonna do all that for you. They want to get rid of you. So now they have succeeded because they closed the border. And what you gonna do? You gonna fight to come out? They closed the border. They got the military around there. They finally got rid of you. No more black problem, no more Negro problem anymore. One group's out of here, another group that's here. They're gone, and our hands are clean. We gave them what they wanted. Well, anything. Okay? God honors contracts. Remember, he honored the contract with Jacob. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to Jacob, which was Esau's inheritance, and God honored it. Okay, Jacob, it's yours. You're the one. And that's the deal. Because he ain't your friend. Pharaoh ain't your friend. Pray, pray, pray. That's the answer. And this homeland you was promised, you rejected it. So now you got what you asked for. So if they gave you reparations today or tomorrow, how would that scenario not play out like that? Well, they say, okay, you got it. Tell me how the scenario wouldn't play out like that. And tell me why they wouldn't do it. They love you so much, they're going to say, okay, we're going to take care of them. I mean, why should they go out their way to take care of you when you was right here? You was working at Popeyes and then they get up on Section 8, all that stuff right here, because they're trying to get rid of that stuff right now. Trump's trying to get rid of all that stuff right now. Because they're closing on you don't realize it. Anyway, that's just, that's what's happening over in America. Wow. Boys come here. Disaster over there. And, I just got a call. Oh, wait, hold on. Really? You serious? Our ambassador just got a call from I don't know what they call it Conland or something. I forgot what it's something they call it right there. That 6th day. They begged us to come and help. Can they come over here? Can we come and get them? Really? Can we come and get them and bring them? Oh no. Now he went and asked Master Farah Muhammad, right? He said, no, hell no. We ain't going to get them. And I agree with that. Yeah, the Master said he said, let's call him, and he passed the word to Master Farah Muhammad. Master Muhammad said, send him back. Master, no, we can't come and get you. You made your choice, live with it. Or die, whatever the situation is. Wow. I can't believe that. They actually, right, sent a message over. I don't know how they did. I don't have any communication with it. Somehow they got the information over to them. Said, would we please come and get them? Nope. Said, no, tell them no. And don't waste time communicating with us anymore. You got your land, you got your reparations, you got your money, you got Farrakhan as your leader. Yeah, tell him, talk to him, let him straighten out for you. He didn't want to sell you the idea. He was a salesman. So you on that idea of reparations. We told you. Right? Suleiman, right? He was the messenger to you, telling you, look, man, let's go home. You said no. You chose not to. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's a sad story. But I guess that's it. Is that it? Oh, they're not getting more reports on Okay, he says that was Matthew Prophet Muhammad's final decision, and I think they closed communications off from there. So, like I said, brothers and sisters, we got those rides. They came in, all that came in today, man, came in fast. After a whole year. Total collapse. Now they begging it, somebody help them. We can't do it. Maybe Master help you. We won't do it. Assalamu alaikum. Update, brothers and sisters, got another late report in that they said, well, if you want to come and get us, well, we at least send them some food. They begged, said, please send us some food. Master Muhammad said, we got to send them a damn thing, nothing, zero. He said, please just send some food. No, I just got that in. He says, if you can't come and get us, please send us some food. He says, no, he refused. That's the report. I just got the information from the ambassador. He said, they sent that, and he's read to me. He says, no. He said, please, just please send us some food. He said, no way. You made your choice, case closed. Okay, just got that in, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.